the genetic, the great warness, and also the sad experiment of 20th century of humankind, which is communism. The rest of the world today is trying to come out of socialism today, such as China and Japan. China has been doing better economically. It's because of capitalism. But one country on this planet today is going that way, against the rest of the world. And I want to think about which country. Dragon. It's interesting that when you see something, there's unprecedented success of economy in China, you got to think about, is it by accident or it's going to happen? Because I think, so this is the second pearl. Remember I shared one pearl in life with you? Life is much more than identification of challenges. Life is about ranking of challenges. Second pearl I want to share with you is among all the uncertainties in life, the most important is to find out few certainty from it. Because you can do that, then you're successful in business because everybody's guessing and predicting and guessing, but you are able to single out a few things that are relatively certain and hang your head on. So let's think about, among this unusual phenomenon of economic success in China, is what is the certain, what is the predictable aspect? Because that is something that we can learn. In our human life, that what's happening in our life is less important. It's the lesson that we learn from being engaged in those activities will stay with us. So China, people are diligent, industrious, intelligent, tenacious, and have this quiet cell mentality. That works well in the modern society, in the modern, mechanized, computerized, automated society. You require this kind of collective behavior and discipline. Sundial invention in China. China miracle simply never in the history of mankind so much economic development in such short period of time involving such a big chunk of human population. Never has happened in humankind. This is a picture I took out of the window in Shanghai. We were having dinner with Ted and Colin Welch, Dean of the Vanderbilt School of Nursing. That's the hospital I called. We were just there. And we just went to a restaurant by the Pudong River, and I just took my little iPhone and on it, I took a picture. That's the picture I took. New Shanghai. They both were third largest countries. Here in Tennessee, middle of Tennessee, 6 o'clock, we go home. Activities are gone. In Shanghai, every air molecule is filled with entrepreneurial spirit. Everybody wants to create something. 6 o'clock at night, life has just begun. As I said, this is my pro number 3. Pro number 1 is ranking. Pro number 2 is among uncertainties, trying to figure out certainties. Pro number 3, what happened in our life is less important than what the lesson we learn from it. So China is not supposed to fix its economy. It's a socialistic country. There you see this unprecedented growth in the economy. So I want to challenge you, what is that you know now that you did not know before you observing this unprecedented growth of the economy in China? What is it you have learned? Remember, my third pro is what we do is less important than what the lesson we learn as human beings as we go through life. To me, it says, here in America, we make automatic assumption, democracy, economic prosperity. But each country can have its own history, culture, and people. It can have its own model of development. So in some countries like China, economic prosperity can actually precede political freedom. So it's important for us, this is a global economy, globalization, class, department, professor. And I think it's important for us when we go to the rest of the world, we cannot go to the mentality saying, it's American way or the highway. Because we got to know, here we are in your land, we're going to go and learn the way you do things. More important than what you want another person to be, a certain way you want, it's actually the most important to respect that person the way he or she is. Sometimes we forget this fundamental human interaction elements, and we end up not being able to successfully learn or doing business because we fundamentally do not regard them to be equal. As I said, most populous country is growing. It's #1 U.S. creditor, surpassed Japan, become the world's second largest economy, and a factor of complacency for a 10,000 to 1 ratio in terms of learning language. This is a southern part of China, very peaceful. I'm going to read very quickly. I'll be happy to email you this presentation. The Chinese are very hardworking. Unlike India, there's no caste system. So the countries are united. They're more willing to work together. Unlike Middle East and rest of the world, there's no religious prejudice. In other words, it is not yet contaminated by people who think religion is the best or use religion to advance their own agendas. So those are advantages of China, why economy grows so fast. Unlike other countries, especially the United States, money energy is not spent on two parties fighting each other. When China realized pollution is a big problem, it's going to implement a compulsory policy that if you're going to build 100 square feet of house, you got to build 20% green land. There's no democracy about it. There's no necessity. In this country, we could have two Congress and keep on debating for decades. So sometimes, totalitarian or sort of government may have some advantage in some of those. Now, unlike other countries, China is not owned by her banks, and she still punishes the corrupt, admittedly not all the time at the same time. Unlike other countries, China is learning. It's not arrogant to say China, you go to China, they're not going to say we have the best system. They always say, you from the United States, we like to learn. China's plan is growth, plan 5 years ahead. And it's independent of the administration. It's a long-term planning. A country it cannot just keep on changing directions with dependent parties. There's a long-term system planning involved. China will follow its own path. It's very clear that many in China that China needs to chart its own spiritual destiny, balancing material and scientific achievements with spiritual and moral advancements. To accomplish such an achievement, she will have no choice but to turn to religion, a vibrant religion that contributes to society and help build the country obedient to government, freedom, free of dogma and superstition. So it's a new religion. It's pragmatic, it's helping the country coming from a feudalistic Confucius past. So it's a religion in the sense of mission and destiny. Panda. So if you want to invest in China, you got to know it's a long term. You got to understand culture and the history of people. You got to understand the very significant role of the government. Made in somewhere is an outdated concept. You know, we used to pick up the cup. Thank you for coffee. And the made in China. No, made in somewhere means what? Means if you buy this, whoever's label is going to make most money. Yes.
Yes.
I was in China traveling with 40 American CEOs. We studied many case studies like MBA program. We studied, went to factory and saw the blue jeans they are made. A pair of blue jeans took $6 cost to make it. Then international transportation, tariffs in the United States, transportation, marketing, packaging, distribution, sale, and final sale commission in Macy's became a $60 pair of jeans, from 6 to 60. So when you buy this pair of jeans labeled made in China, who makes the money? We, not the Chinese. Because the guy made it blue jean, cost $6 US, he probably sell this jean for $7, $1 or $2 profit. All the way to make it $60, 80–90% of the profit are made by US citizens. We're the one who transport it, we're the one who distribute it, we're the one market it, we're the one who sell it. So if you ask me what are the major attribute difference in business today compared with yesterday, I talk about direct business, indirect business, right? Google and Facebook. There's another attribute difference, that is if this is the cost of doing business, the percentage of non-primary manufacturing has significantly increased. Yesterday, if you make a chair, it takes $10 to $50 to make this chair, and this is it, the cost. Today, if cost of doing business of this chair is $50, probably $40 has nothing to do with primary manufacturing. It has to do with marketing, packaging, sales. That defines modern economy. The percentage among the cost of doing business, the percentage has nothing to do with primary manufacturing is increasing. So that's what a blue jean is. So my point is, if you buy this blue jean and the label made in blah, 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 is supposed to denote the fact that if you buy this product, whoever labeled that will make money. What is the correct way of labeling that pair of jeans? Should be made in China, transported in the United States, marketed by the United States, packaged by the United States, distributed by the United States, sold by the United States. Because all these parties actually makes 80% of the profit. Think about what I just said today. Today's world economy is a complex, intertwining phenomenon. We need to educate ourselves. We're new business people, right? We need to educate, okay, just label something. It doesn't necessarily mean that parties can make money. Actually, other parties, in this particular case, we make the money, US citizens. So you punish that pair of blue jeans without knowing, we punish ourselves. So you got to know those. Thomas Friedman wrote this book, New York Times reporter, called World is Flat. He said, it used to be whether you get to make a product depends who you are, where you're from, whether you're going from Great Britain or Portugal or some privileged countries. Today, whether you get to make a product depends less on who you are, where you're from, depends on what kind of product you can make at what cost. So in that sense, the playing field is more leveled and the world is flat. I highly encourage you, I'm going to give, if I have time, I'm going to ask a few questions. I'll give you 3 books. I bought a few copies of the World is Flat, and I will give to Corey, and Corey can give it to you. I will ask 3 questions. So I didn't bring with me, but I will find a way to get to you. And so 3 students will each receive a copy of Thomas Friedman's book, because I bought a few copies myself some years ago. The terracotta, so the mission of Tennessee Chinese Chamber of Commerce is to help export to China. That's how we can survive as a nation, United States, is to export, to create positive foreign trade so we have the money to do education and healthcare. Red is the characteristic traditional color of Chinese. Tennessee is not doing too bad. Exporting is increasing. This is what defines modern Tennessee. These are good, but these are natural resources. It could be used up. What defines modern Tennessee today is healthcare, religion, and music. Thomas Friedman said, don't worry about sweaters and toys. China's not even making those anymore. They're like Japan and Cambodia making. Focus on our strength, which is high-level labor, which is business infrastructure, management, medical, technology, legal system, financing. I mean, all these things we can export. Forget about spilled milk, which is toy, sweaters. I want to lastly share with my personal experience. With partners, we built now 41 hospitals in China. It's the largest hospital group. The Shanghai hospital, I helped build that in 2005. On my left is the chairman of the board. We have a 5-man board, and we own the whole enterprise. And education, system, training, lots of opportunities. Corey asked that if anyone interested, you can send me an email that we have opportunities in chamber and the foundation, various volunteering opportunities. And I can specifically speak to each of you. These education opportunities were involved in teaching. I did the first LASIK in the state of Tennessee. That was first in 6 million people. When I did the first in China, that was first in 1.4 billion. On my right was the first patient in China. So that's doing surgeries. And that's the hospital. And you see the world-class charity. We have Foundation to Help. We just had the eyeball. And to donate, I do believe we do have an obligation to help the poor in this country. Our healthcare is going through bankruptcy. is going to become bankrupt. So, however, I do believe the answer to lessen our financial burden of our nation, to provide care for the poor, is not bigger government, not higher taxes, but to encourage voluntarism. As that's an example, a bunch of eye doctors, we got together, we donate our services for patients who don't have insurance, need medical care, and income below poverty level. So I just think all medical specialties all start doing that. We can help lessen the financial burden of this nation to care for the poor through charity and being a volunteer. This is the eyeball we just had. And this hospital history. And why study China? This year, China is becoming going from world's largest manufacturer to largest consumer. And we need to study and we need to increase our exports. So, in conclusion, I try to share with you not just the subject matter, but method through which I think and learn. Few things. One, life is much more than identification of challenges. Life is about ranking of challenges. Force yourself to rank. Second, among all uncertainties in business or whatever, try to practice your ability, improve your ability to pick few certainties. The better you can pick that few certainties, the better you'll be more successful. Number three, what's happening in our world, what we actually do is less important than the lesson we actually learn, such as watching China learn some lessons. Number four, when we go around the world, it's more important than what we want others to be a certain way. It is actually much better, much more important to respect another person or culture the way it is. Number five, what drives Facebook and Google successful today is because they are in direct business. They make money not based on the product, the primary product they provide. Why? It's because advertisers. Why advertisers? Because marketing has assumed unprecedented importance in business today. The number one challenge of business of yesterday was internal, how to make a product. Number one challenge of business today is external, how to sell a product. And what's number one in selling a product is understanding your customers. So to learn about another culture and history and people, it's not just the right thing to do as a world citizen morally, but now it's now an economic necessity because after all, they are our customers. It's of paramount importance that we need to export and sell to the rest of the world by first and foremost understand them first, what our customers want. And last things I want to share is, as an immigrant, I've come to appreciate America so much. And I'm very troubled by many of the things happening in this nation. They're forgetting freedom and choice is what built America. We don't want a country like America to go towards socialism, towards cultural revolution, towards a situation where an abuse of individual power could significantly hurt a nation. So I want to close with, I'm going to play a few pieces of music for you. Use the very instrument I played during the Cultural Revolution, the Chinese violin. Ladies and gentlemen, Carlos Enrique.
Quick announcement as well, I'm going to put sign-in sheets for my class on each side. You can sign them on the way out. I'll have one for $29.90 and then one for $20.10. Did we still have time for it? Oh, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So this is the instrument, Chinese violin. I played that instrument you saw in the picture earlier. It's a pole that with the two strings, with the bow sitting between two strings, with a sound box covered with snake skin. When I picked this instrument, as I told you earlier, I have no interest in learning. I said, why should I be studying this? I want to go to medical school. I want to be a doctor. But I couldn't because all colleges were shut down during the Cultural Revolution. So this is a very simple instrument. The bow sits in between the two strings, so it cannot, by definition, make two sounds at any one time. So by definition, it cannot create harmony. because you cannot make two sounds at one time. So it's a challenge how to make such a simple, flimsy, simple instrument to create expressive, dynamic music. So Carlos is going to play guitar, and we're going to play a few tunes. The first tune we're going to play for you is an ancient Chinese tune. So I want you to all close your eyes, lean back, relax. Just kind of let yourself be transported 5,000 years into a country which is just the opposite of here. You drill a hole deep enough, you get to China. Land of ancient tradition, philosophy, Confucius, scholarship, seniority, putting a stamp what you do as a human being. There's many things we can learn, and many things we need to learn. So the first thing is called, the first song is called Big River. It's an ancient Chinese piece about a fisherman in the morning got up, put his boat in the water, and sailed down the river into horizon. So ladies and gentlemen, Big River.
This is the hardest part.
Okay. Close your eyes, relax. You study hard, work hard today. You allowed yourself to be transported to an ancient time in the faraway land.